morning. It's always very difficult for political scientists, I think, at least for me, to speak in front of other scholars who work in social sciences and especially humanities. I think that that political science is few degrees below other social sciences and humanities, and hence I'm always nervous when I'm speaking at an event that is not predominantly made of political science. Anyways, I think I'm going to just start by giving some reflections and thoughts about things that irritate me personally and have been irritating me the past year. As we all know, Gramsci long ago told us that domination does not just happen through coercion, but there are elements of hegemony, elements within the superstructure, within our ideas and thoughts and predominant narratives that make us think what's possible, what can be done and what cannot be done. And I think a revolution is not just about a work position or maneuver when it comes to elements of domination or structures of tangible power, be it the economy, politics, or the use of force, but it's also a conflict of narrative, so to speak, a conflict of ideas, of what's possible, who's doing what, and why. And I've never seen this come to the fore and be that true like I've seen it the past year when talking about the so-called Arab Spring. I have a problem with that name, but let's just say the Arab Spring, and especially the Egyptian Revolution. And I think the narrative and counter-narrative about that revolution was very clear, at least for me, on three fronts. The agents, who are the agents of this revolution? The tools, what are the methods that they use and how acceptable those tools are? And the object of change, what are they trying to accomplish? And I'm sure all of you here have been following the media and state officials coming out to talk about Thawrat al-Shabab, the youth revolution. And the iconization of the so-called Shabab 25 al-Jamil, so to speak, right? As opposed to the rest of the Shabab, who are not Jamil and not Tamer and does not belong to 25. This started very early on, like with the 28th. And I think most of you who had the time to watch Egyptian TV saw Tamer Ghamra and others who said that they were part of the 25 al-Jamil Shabab, but then they withdrew because there were violence and agendas and money and whatnot. And this actually continued later on to create the binary between, again, Shabab al-Thawra as opposed to the Baltagay, the thugs. This was during the summer, and we've seen this a lot. A lot of the people who were actually put in front of military tribunals were claimed to be not Shabab al-Thawra, but rather Baltagay. How do we know? What's the distinction? And it's very, I think it's very interesting that a lot of us, I'm sure, have been in cabs where the cab driver would say, look at them. And personally, a number of times it happened, I was on the way to here, and the cab driver would say, look at them, those are not Shabab Thawra, those are Baltagaya. And I'm like, they look to me exactly like you. And I think this narrative had two main purposes. Again, I'm not here claiming that this is a conscious decision where people sit together, the media, those in power, and the Western agents to conspire against what is the narrative, but I think there are converging interests that actually push that narrative without conscious decisions among the different parties. And I think this emphasis on شباب 25 الجميل as opposed to the بلطجية or the non-شباب جميل meant to do two things. One is to cloak the whole conflictual class narrative that exists in any revolution with this kind of agency. It's not about class. It's not about the youth of the Malik who actually do want things that might be, and I believe are different from the Shabab from Hidayah or Umraniya or Shansi labor. But there is one homogeneous block called Shabab. There's no conflict here. There's no conflict of interest. There's no conflict of tools being used. It's just one harmonious, homogeneous block. And hence, when we speak about what the revolution wants, or the slogans of the revolution, and something like social justice comes out, then social justice can be defined equally by Shabab from Zamalek or from AUC, as much as it's defined by those of Hidayah or Umraniya who don't have a job, who don't have the education. And because of the existing power dynamics, actually the definition that Shabab of Zamalek will put forward is much more likely to be the predominant definition again. And here we find the iconization of none of the figures, the icons, known to be Shabab Thawra, actually even look like most Egyptian Shabab. I remember vividly, after the 18 days, Time magazine had its cover on the Egyptian Revolution. It featured 7 young people, 4 of which were my students at AUC. And I believe actually they're I don't want to say that they're the only 4 who joined, but I mean they're among the very few of AUC students who were there. Again, you look at Hunayn, who's a very kind, fine young man who I like a lot, but again, the Google job, the Western training, the fetishism of technology and the revolution and the PR campaign, and you understand, I think it's very indicative of what is the kind of 25 youth that we are looking at, that we are seeking to iconize in order to cloak others, as opposed to someone like Sambu, for example, or others from the ultras who are not seen as proper enough and hence not the ideal revolutionaries.